I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Happy 2020.
Happy 2020 to you as well, man. I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling excited. We had a hell of a fucking 2019, man. Learned a lot, did a lot. Yeah. We just wrapped that up in a meeting not too long ago. Did we not?
We did. We had our 2020 post-19 meeting. It got intense. It got informative. It went beautiful. It went beautiful.
It did, man. Nice little recap. Probably, a good 3-hour long meeting. Steve and I, if you don't know us, nothing is shorter than 3 hours. We got to talk about anything and everything, and then we finally get into what we're actually talking about. So yeah, man, we just kind of went down the list of what we learned last year, what worked, what didn't work, what we're going to do better this year, how we can better serve you guys, both in terms of content for the BOMBCAST, and then on my side with the design stuff, and then on Steve's side with the photography and like I said, the BOMBCAST stuff, just how we're tightening up all areas of that and just being the best, company and brand that we can be for you guys, because after all, it is all about you. So.
It's all about you, the YOU. And thank you for all your love and support during the 2019 year. Kevin and I have never, we started this from the ground up, and it's an exciting adventure. And so thank you for all your love and support, because it really means a lot. And so for those of you who purchased a product or have come out to a trade show and just talked to us or commented on our BOMBCAST, we really appreciate the love. So please continue to do that. And we're excited for this new year. We got some good shit coming up for you.
We definitely have some good stuff coming up for you. We got a few new designs coming out. One of those includes a collaboration with a Cleveland tattoo artist that specializes in script writing. Super cool dude. His name's Mark McLaughlin. He's on Instagram at LettersByMark, so you can go check him out. Really talented dude. He worked with another brand out of Los Angeles that is unfortunately coming to an end. I don't know why they're closing their doors, for whatever reason, but the brand was called Blessed Individuals, and they basically did nice men's underwear. It was that was their specialty. It was boxer briefs, but it was tattoo inspired. So you'd have these boxer briefs and said Blessed Individuals on the elastic band, and then they'd have sick ass tattoo lettering on the actual garment. So it would say Blessed Individuals in that script writing, or they had a big graffiti art B that was on it. And then from the underwear, they reached out into t-shirts and jackets and stuff like that. And so early on in that company's career, these guys did great, by the way. I mean, I don't know what their actual annual revenue was, but I know they had quite a bit of traction. But early on, these guys actually reached out to Mark, and he was one of the first collaborators with them that kind of not designed, but shaped their whole kind of brand. So it's cool and hugely flattering to have this guy want to work with us as well. Because basically what happened, I'll scour Instagram to look at brands that are doing what they're doing, just to take note of what's out there. It's good to research what's in your space and see what other people have going on. So I came across them, and they posted a shirt that was the collaboration that they did with Mark. And so I followed Mark on Instagram, and a couple days later, he followed back, and so I reached out in the DM, and I was like, "Hey, bro, thanks for the follow back. Really love your work." And he's like, "Likewise, man. You guys got a dope company," and that was it, right?
That's the start of it all.
That's the start of it all. So we just went back and forth, liking each other's posts and comments and stuff. And then one day I open up the DMs, and there's this fucking gorgeous handcrafted piece of our company name that he just drew freehand.
Oh man, it is beautiful. It is beautiful, guys.
It's so sick. It's unique to him. It's his 100% his style. You look at the detail in it, it's got spider webs in between the letters. The ink blots on it are perfectly dripping down the page. Just a sick, super sick way of doing it. And so Bombers is in his unique script, and then the and sleeves part is in kind of a more scroll type script, more of a cursive. But just the blend of the two is really just a fucking super interesting design. And it's similar to what he did for Blessed Individuals, but not it's still unique enough. But I just remember I texted Steve as soon as I saw that. I was like, this is a huge fucking honor, dude. This is a big, big, big deal. This guy literally, like, he doesn't know us. We've had a 2-day Instagram interaction. He took the time out of his day to sit down and draw this out, take a picture, and said, here you go. Like, I'll send it to you if you want it. And I'm like, what? No, dude. Well, like, we need, like, can we print this? Like, do we have permission to do that? He was like, yeah, man, I'll send you the digital file. And I'll send you a copy of a hard copy of the piece too. So, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm freaking out. I'm texting you, like getting on top of it. I'm like, this is like what do they call it in the rap world, man? When someone's like cosigns you or whatever, it felt like a cosign,
like a collab or like a.
Basically, like if a new rapper's coming up and like an established rapper is like, yeah, this is cool. Like I'm gonna like rap a verse on it or whatever. It's like called a cosign.
Gotcha.
I was like, I have no idea if that exists in the apparel world, but it felt like the equivalent of like an apparel world cosign.
Oh yeah.
So it made my day. So anyway. Steve and I sent Mark and his wife some of our stuff and just wrote like a really nice handwritten note from both of us, just thanking, and like he was super appreciative of that. And every day since then, he's been wearing our stuff and tagging us all the time. So it just like already it's blossomed into this like really cool business partnership. And I'm just really excited to release his work, man, because he deserves it. He gives 100% to his craft. Every single day he's like drawing just whatever comes to his head. Like it's kind of like a daily practice for him. So the fact that he chose us to actually be a part of one of those daily practices is cool. And now we're going to launch a product around it, and I think it's going to be really rad. So I got off on a huge tangent there, but
I love it. No, he was excited. Well, it's 2020. It's a new year. The people need to know about this kind of stuff.
It's 2020. Yeah. And so it's genuinely exciting, and I hope you guys listen to that, and just don't be afraid to reach out to the people that you think, because honestly, when I first saw Mark, I was like, oh, he works with this company. He probably doesn't want anything to do with us. Like, those automatic negative thoughts kind of jump up, and I'm glad I didn't succumb to that, right? I'm glad I just reached out with a simple, hey, bro, thanks for following back. Love your work. You never know where that's going to go.
Totally. And no one ever gets mad at a compliment. So, and if you are scared to kind of reach out to somebody, I think, hey, send them just a compliment or what their work meant to you. I promise you, it's something probably magical is going to happen. If he doesn't reach out, it's okay. But the fact is, like, show appreciation every now and then. And it might get reciprocated. And in this case, it did. And wow, did it launch a whole new product for us.
Totally, man. And then, who knows what else is going to come from the partnership with him. He's a big name up in the Cleveland tattoo scene. And I don't know. I'm just excited to support him too, man. I'm just as excited as he is to be.
Yeah, he does some killer work, y'all. So and check him out. It's Letters by Mark, I believe, on Instagram.
MARC, not MARC.
Check out some of Mark's work, man. Show him some love. And thank you again, Mark, for rocking our stuff. And again, for the amazing design. We cannot wait for this thing to come out this year. We're so excited to get this out for you. Now we're going to move on to a signature piece here. Now, the whole point of this podcast, we really wanted to break down. A lot of people have been talking about the 6-1 vibe. And what does it mean? What does it stand for? And to kind of give you that insight and to spread the love on it, we're going to hand it over to Mr. Kevin McElroy, because we have a lot of things to say about it and how it kind of got started and why we chose this certain piece. But Kevin did this amazing thing not too long ago. He wrote a blog, a very sincere and well-written blog that I compliment him on, and I moved me, and I know moved a lot of people that live here in Music City. So I thought it'd be really great to kind of start the conversation of talking about 6-1 Vibe with reading the blog that he wrote. So let's go into this, Kev. Let's read this from top to bottom, and let's give people a little piece of what this 6-1 Vibe is really about.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, dude, for the kind words on that. Yeah, man. So I want to preface this before I get into this. Just like, so 6-1 Vibe, back when we were in the early days of our Instagram account, we had a picture that we were posting, and we were trying to come up with a caption for it. And so it's two of our friends, Matt and Carly. They're sitting in front of this. We're in an abandoned place downtown somewhere, and they're sitting in front of this wall. Super sick, like black and white picture. It's on our website if you want to go see it. Anyway, so they're sitting down in front of it. Their mood is captured really well. And off in the left-hand side, someone had tagged 615 on the end there. And so I'm trying to come up with a caption for this picture. And I text something to Steve. I was like, hey, man, I think the caption of this should be straight out of the 6-1 vibe. Because, like, for whatever reason, 5, obviously rhymes with vibe, all of that good stuff. But I'm looking at the picture. It's a vibe in and of itself. I see the 615 in the corner, straight out of the 6-1 vibe. There it is. So we post the picture. It's got that caption, straight out of the 6-1 vibe. And then I started doming on that shit for a little bit. I'm like, dude, there's something more to that. That's actually really fucking cool, man. And so start thinking back and forth, like, what does it mean? And, Steve's like, well, dude, Nashville's always been more than a sound. It's a vibe. There's something about the people here. There's something about the artist community here. It's just a very cool, place to be. And if you live here, you know that. And if you've been here for longer than 5-6 years, you really know that because you've seen what it was like before the massive influx of people moved here, and you understand firsthand what this community was kind of built off of. So from that, I started thinking further into it, and I was on the phone with Lightning 100, which is a radio station here in Nashville, if you're not familiar.
The best radio station around here.
By far. And we were talking about stuff, how we can collaborate, how we can do more stuff, and together, just kind of increase both of our presences. And I go into some part about how we do, like, we're trying to do like some philanthropy work. And I talked about our work with Weekends with Warriors. We have the specialty tea that we made for them, that 100% of the profits goes to that organization. And then I talked about the 6-1 Vibe thing, because I had sent him a picture of the 6-1 Vibe hat initially, saying like, hey, we have a Nashville specific product, the 6-1 Vibe line, that I'd like to talk to you guys about too. And on the phone, on the spot, the idea of like a preservation product kind of came to me, and I just start riffing on it. I'm like, yeah, actually, man, this really could turn into like a preservation movement. Instead of seeing all these iconic Nashville places get swallowed up by apartment buildings or get replaced by, economic progress, what if this was a line that said, hey, man, we are not going to stand for that? And the guy, Delaney Walker, on the phone was like, dude, I love that. He's like, we all feel it, that there's a threat to it.
Oh, yeah.
And that something needs to happen. And so the phone call ends. I come back with Steve. We talk about it more and more and more. And then all of a sudden, I don't know when it happened, honestly. This is, as you can hear already, this has been a process of development. But I came up with a little tagline for it where 6-1 Vibe is a movement to help support creative and economic integrity in the city of Nashville. That's kind of like the tagline for it, right? And that covers the whole base of what the actual issue is. And that issue is that with the rapid expansion of Nashville, the vibe or the community and what makes it so special is slowly being threatened, and we need to catch that now before it's completely gone and we're just this empty shell of a city that was completely exsanguinated, for lack of a better word. And that's just a fancy way of saying had the blood drained out of it, right? So if you think like the metaphorical, like cultural lifeblood is slowly just drained from a city, and all you have are these tall and skinny houses, apartment buildings, and then these kitschy fucking coffee shops that are trying to mimic what was actually authentic at one point. That's fucking pathetic, and no one wants to see that shit. So,
right. And for literal proof, I mean, we see it all the time, and so does so many locals. I mean, especially in the neighborhood where we do our BOMBCAST studio, you used to be able to walk out your door, and every third house you would have someone playing guitar outside in the yard, maybe smoking a cigarette on the porch, and it was affordable to live in this area, and you could go up to them and be like, "Oh man, cool," and you make a friend in 7 minutes, and all of a sudden you're going to their show, they're going to your shows, and all of a sudden, like by the time you got down to the end of the street, you made like 10 friends, and like put up like 9 co-writes, it is impossible now. It's impossible now because right now you can't afford to live in some of these areas, and they're pushing all of our musicians. They're pushing this vibe, this community out of the city where everyone came to dream.
Right.
And it's terrible. I get it. We all get, Nashville is a very desirable place, but our vibe is being threatened, and you're pushing out the very soul out of the city. And that's why I think this blog that you wrote was very powerful, because I think you nailed it on the head.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. And yeah, and the thing that no one's talking about when you read articles about this or when you talk in social circles about it, no one's saying the other side of the argument, which is that the people that are moving in here and developing the place, they're shooting themselves in the foot. If you slowly start to drive out the very essence of what made this city so attractive in the first place, you're going to lose out on your investment as well.
Right.
And so maybe it doesn't seem like that because you're like, oh, artists, fuck them, whatever. I'm doing my thing. Capitalize on the fucking real estate development. Well, guess what, dude? If pretty soon no one that makes a city attractive in terms of like an artistic sense is able to come here anymore, it's there, dude. There's not a lot that's super special to sustain it outside of that, right? So don't forget that the creative class that allowed you to capitalize on a city and make a fuck ton of money needs to be preserved too. So
absolutely.
All right, cool. So that's kind of the background on it. So I'm going to go into I'm going to read the blog post that I wrote. Just so you guys can get some deeper context on what it is, and then we'll just have like a brief discussion on it after, and then what you can do to kind of help support and where you can find the new product and all that stuff. All right, so the address, or like the web address for the blog, is linked in our website, bombersandsleeves.com, or if you go to 61vibe.wordpress.com, you'll come up with it right there as well. All right, so let's get into it. So the title of the blog is Protect Our Vibe and Fight for What's Real. All right, so 61 Vibe is a socially conscious apparel collection by clothing and lifestyle brand Bombers and Sleeves. The mission behind this particular collection is to help support creative and economic integrity in the city of Nashville, Tennessee. If you lived in Nashville for at least the past 5 years, you've likely noticed some major changes. The once partially overlooked city known for its cowboy hats and boots suddenly got a boost of cosmopolitan street cred with the launch of Nashville, the hit TV show starring Hayden Panettiere and Connie Britton. Almost immediately after the release of Season 1, the mass influx of new visitors started making trips to the newly perceived City of Dreams to catch a glimpse of the iconic Nashville establishments featured on the fictional show. This, in many ways, was the proverbial beginning of the end in terms of Nashville flying under the radar as one of the best-kept secrets as a safe harbor for creative artists. Perhaps its biggest advantage being the low cost of living and reasonable access to some of the top players in creative industries thanks to the city's communal values and placing an emphasis on the art of the hang. It wasn't uncommon to see A-level musicians and industry executives hanging out at local bars, which made networking in Music City a dream. Ironically, just as the TV show followed the journey of one superstar hopeful as she navigated her way to the top of country music charts, Nashville was finding itself in a state of instant fame in real time, however unwanted that new fame may have been. What started out as an entertaining display of tourists providing a short-term economic boost turned into an overwhelming amount of those tourists not wanting to leave. In fact, they started buying real estate all over the city at an alarming rate, setting off a housing boom that would not be reversed, spiking rent rates, and creating ever-increasing traffic jams, both of which never used to be an issue. Now, those once easy opportunities for afternoon hangs disappeared in the face of mind-numbing traffic starting as early as about 3 p.m. So long, affordable housing, you were sacrificed in the name of gentrification and tall and skinnies. But wait, you mean the city everyone moved to after developing an emotional attachment to a fictional music artist is now slowly suffocating the lifeline for the real creative artists that reside in Nashville? As Metallica would say, sad but true. Let's remember that a city is only as cool and edgy as it is rare and unique. That means you can't shut down music venues or dive bars that have served as creative incubators for some of the world's best musicians. It also means you can't shut down locally owned, iconic restaurants only to be replaced by the next hot chicken fad, and it sure as shit doesn't mean you can just blindly slap on a Nash hat and think you inherit the right to mold our city into a subpar version of whatever you moved here from. of wherever you moved here from. Excuse me. Now, I'm not anti-establishment or against economic progress in any way. There are just as many great things that come along with it as there are bad. However, when it's starting to feel like Nashville's overly conservative parents came to visit it at college and tore down its proverbial Hank Williams, Jimi Hendrix, and Willie Nelson posters in place of Kenny G and Jazzercise memorabilia, it starts to be a bit concerning. All right. Nice. Boxing out the individuals that create and provide one of the largest attractions of our city ultimately ruins the investment return many of the new Nashville crowd hope for. It has the potential to be a lose-lose scenario. Only if the developers lose, they're on to the next place. If artists lose, it's not so easy. So, what's the solution? Honestly, I don't know. There's a lot of power and money behind the new development of our city, and it's likely they'll win. One by one, every neighborhood music venue, record store, local restaurant, and affordable bar will be wiped out and replaced by apartment buildings or corporate-backed coffee houses trying to mimic an artsy feel. I laugh when I imagine places like that developing employee handbooks on how to look authentically tortured and how to curate the proper starving artist flair. Let's please not allow that nightmare. Here's what I do know. The more we can raise our voice as a community and actually do something to help ourselves out, the better we will all be, including tall and skinny house developers. The vision for 6-1 Vibe is simple. Help support creative and economic integrity in the city of Nashville. Not solve, not prevent, just help. Here's what I imagine that help looking like. Preserve the last remaining Nashville staples like Exodin and Grimies, just to name a few. Build more awareness around local businesses and support local live music. Partner with an organization committed to affordable housing for artists and other creative citizens. And showcase the fact that Nashville is not Nashville if it loses the artists that help create it. And ultimately turn 6-1 Vibe into a nonprofit organization that has scholarship and endorsement opportunities for artists in our area that need support, and develop some type of outreach center that provides a place for creative, networking and just a place to work. So, if this sounds like something you'd like to support, please email us at bombersandsleeves@gmail.com. Or if you know of anyone that would like to help make this vision come to life, please send them our way too. Otherwise, please check out our 6-1 Vibe collection at bombersandsleeves.com and help spread the word. The more successful that collection is, the closer we get to building this end vision. Let's protect our vibe and fight for what's real.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin McElroy.
I had a few stumbles in there. That's
all good. It's
a lot to get through live.
It's a tongue twister. Man, I'll tell you what. The first time I read that, I was lit up like a light bulb, man. And you know what? Everything that you guys just heard right there is exactly what 6-1 Vibe stands for. So we are so excited to get that product out to you. Not only because we want people in Nashville, to wear it, but we want you to wear it with pride. It's what I said in the intro. Wear it with pride. Know what it actually represents. We're not losing our creative community yet, but it is definitely being threatened. And the further you push us away, the further you're going to be from great music, or that's as soon as dreams start dying a little bit. And there's nothing worse than a dream that's crushed, So really, guys, I'm so glad that you understand now a little bit more about what this vibe stands for. It's not just a Nash Fash kind of target that we're trying to go for. There's a real meaning behind it, and it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to a lot of people that live here. So please come and support us and support your city. This is the greatest city I've ever known in my life.
Me too. And that's what makes it so passionate, is because if all of this stuff that we're afraid of going away actually goes away, it's going to fucking suck, man. I don't want to live anywhere else. I want to live here.
Yeah, I've never in my life. It's funny because we've all been around a lot of places, but Nashville, and you can talk to anybody that has lived here for a very long time. When you go to whatever destination you go to, and you get on that plane to come back here, it doesn't suck. You are actually very grateful and happy that you get to come to a place as magical as Music City.
Totally, man. And so while a lot of this stuff that I'm describing in that blog may not actually be a reality right now, there's still enough writing on the wall that like I and we are scared of it. So if you rock the 6-1 vibe shit, it's just a way of raising your voice and being like, hey, don't forget what makes this place what it is.
Yep.
And also, you know, like I said in that last paragraph, we really do want to turn this into a nonprofit, because I'm not just sitting here bitching about shit and not, trying to actually put action behind it. There will be a way of actually, putting money behind supporting the community that we are a part of. Obviously, that just takes time. So while we're not there yet, these are the first steps. And at the very least, if people are just wearing it and then going to the blog or listening to this podcast about it, at least the messaging is starting to go around, and it's at the forefront of your consciousness. And whatever you can do to support these local venues that we're talking about, or support local artists, or anything to just keep the integrity of Nashville in place, both economically and creatively. That's all we're saying.
That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying. So, guys, and right now, if you go to bombersandsleeves.com, you can order yourself the 6-1 Vibe hoodie. We also have the 6-1 Vibe trucker hat and the 6-1 Vibe wool hat. And the new product that we are about to launch right now is the 6-1 Vibe t-shirts with the Bombers and Sleeves logo on the sleeve. And it comes in black, and our first color that we're going to bring you a little color. It's a neutral one, but it's still color. It is gray, and that is my favorite one. I work out in that every day.
Nice. Yeah, so I guess that's it for today.
That's it, though. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. And please go to bombersandsleeves.com. Check out the 6-1 Vibe product. Also, follow us at Instagram at Bombers and Sleeves, Facebook at Bombers and Sleeves. And we do have a TikTok. Let's just, that's a new 2020 thing, guys.
Yep.
We call it wind. That maybe TikTok is the wave of the future, and we want to surf that wave. So you can follow us on TikTok as well. So thank you guys very much for listening. We hope this was impactful for you, and we cannot wait for this year. Can't wait to get all the new product out to you. And don't forget, bomb your boundaries, baby.
Peace.